is you. I got too many cameras to look at right now. This is you, and we are here to help you. We got the vaccine for COVID-19. We got the vaccine for COVID-19. We're going to give you a preview today. You don't have to wait 18 months. It's going to be absolutely free, and you don't have to get chipped in the process. But I'm going to tell you all about that later. We're going to go into the vaccine and what the injection. Is it a love injection? So we're going to cover that. We're also, today, the topic of the podcast is, what is dying of old age all about? Why do you die? How do you die? And what's the difference between longevity and immortality? And if you listen to the promo, I asked you to call in and tell me how Uncle Joe died, how Aunt Jane died, what's going on with them, and if you knew the process. So typically when a celebrity dies, everybody says, how did he die? What did he die from? And the family is like, oh, he suffered for a long time, and now he's at peace, so we don't want to go into medical details. So yeah, why is the celebrity death more important than Uncle Joe's or Aunt Jane's or Grandpa Frank or Grandma Wilma? We need to find out what our family history is. We need to know what it is that people die from in their old age. And do they need to die in a hospital with tubes up their throat, down their throat, or things in their arms? It's kind of unsettling to me. I don't want to die in a hospital. I'd rather die at home, in bed, surrounded by loving family and friends. That's the only way to go. Best way to go. So today, podcast, Ask Dr. Love. So why are you here to ask Dr. Love? Because if Love has the answer, what's the question? So what do we want to do? We want to call in and talk about how your grandmother, your great-grandmother died, if you were around, if you knew the particulars. If you don't bother to call in. So what do people die from? What is old age? That's the thing that always was curious to me. He died of old age. What is old age? What does that mean? Is old age 65, 75, 85, 95, 105? What is old age? That's a big range. And if 60 is middle age, then, or 50 is middle age, whatever number you came up with, if that's the middle, then your lifespan should be double that. It should be 100, right? If middle age is 50, then I should live to be 100. So why don't we make it to the fourth quarter? Why do we always crap out in the third quarter? So what did Uncle Joe die from? What is dying of old age? Old age is when the blood vessels actually collapse and they can no longer transport blood and oxygen and nutrients to the desired location. When the blood vessels collapse, that's called dying of natural causes or dying of old age. Now, most people die of heart attack. Why do they die of a heart attack? Because a little tiny piece of the heart died. There were individual cells, like a bunch of grapes, and one grape is bad, and then that spreads to the second and the third, and then pretty soon the entire bunch of grapes is bad and you have to throw them away. Well, in your heart, you have little cells, and when one cell dies, another cell dies until there's a big cluster. And about a quarter the size of your fingernail, a quarter that size, if that amount of clustered heart cells dies, that creates an infarction, which they call myocardial infarction or heart attack. So that's our issue when we die of a heart attack. So What if you had liver or kidney damage from high blood pressure or from kidney disease? What if you had failing kidneys and you were on dialysis, and over time your liver and your spleen went out because you had kidney disease, and over time then your organs just crapped out? That's also natural causes. Okay, I think we lost the audio again.
Does that matter about the audio?
Okay. So what are we going to do if we're out of audio? Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay. So what do we want to do with this information about dying of old age? The number one thing you want to do is make your blood vessels clean so they don't collapse. So what causes plaque in the blood vessel? Salt, sugar, dairy, flour, animal fat, and fried. Those things clog the blood vessels. And when the blood vessels get clogged, that leads to high blood pressure, and then that leads to a heart attack. So how can we avoid this? Number one, we can build our immune system. How do we build the immune system? Well, that's the whole point of what I do as a healer with the Qigong, is to help you understand how your immune systems work and how you can boost it. So are we ready for the vaccine, today's vaccine? Oh, did I say yesterday? I did say yesterday. That's why I was so excited for today's vaccine. What I told you yesterday is that they found T lymphocyte cells in the brain, in the meninges, which is the lining of the brain, which only act on the immune system. They thought those T lymphocyte cells were only in the skin and in the gut. And so now they have to rewrite the textbooks explaining that you have T lymphocyte cells in your brain that can trigger the immune system. Your brain can trigger the immune system. Now, how does that work? It works through the lymphatic system. The lymph system is part of the endocrine system. So all these fluids work together, and it's called the interstitium, which is the interstitial fluid, the connective tissue, and the fascia. Those three together are one organ, and that fluid is in your brain. And therefore, when you feel good about yourself, you can trigger an immune response, a positive immune response. And when you feel bad about yourself and you feel low, you do the same thing. You reverse the immune response. So you can make yourself sick by your thoughts and your feelings. So are you ready for today's vaccine? Today's vaccine is you've got to breathe well to be well. So I want you to do is take your two fingers, put it on the side of your neck. There's a muscle there called the SCM. Follow that muscle up to the jawline, and then open your jaw, and you'll feel a little hollow around the jaw. Then you come back to the jawline until you feel the artery. That's called the carotid artery. And I want you to get a watch. I want you to look at your watch or set up your cell phone as a timepiece, and then start it. And I want you to feel your carotid artery for 15 seconds. That's a really short time, 15 seconds. Then you have to use your calculator to multiply that times 4. Now, people are going to ask me, well, what should it be? What should it be? Well, the average American is 18 breaths per minute. So in 15 seconds, that's a good number. That might be 10. Whatever it is, you'll figure it out when you follow that for 15 seconds times 4 equals 1 minute. And that is your beat per minute, your heartbeats per minute. Then, part 2, you're going to take these 3 fingers, right hand, you're going to loop it over your left wrist. Now, you've got a thumb, so you want to be in line with the thumb. So you've got 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, you're going to feel that either the first two, either 1 and 2 are stronger or 3 and 4 are stronger when you press down with your fingers. So you're going to figure that out, whichever one is the stronger. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to feel that for 15 seconds. Multiply that times 4. Now, I know you're going to ask me, didn't we just do that in the neck with the carotid? Yes, we just did. So why am I doing it in my wrist? Is it going to be different? No, it's not going to be different. But what I want you to do is to feel. I want you to have the feeling that you're connected to yourself. You're connected to your own heart rhythm. So you do your neck, and then you do your wrist. They should be the same pulse. But the most important thing is for you to tune in. Now, I know you're going to ask me, how do I tune in? I was just doing that and I'm listening to you Okay, here's how you tune in. Take a deep breath. Just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And then stop. Count to 2. Now, breathe out on a count of 7. Slow it down, slow it down. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it. Now, deep breath in. You don't need to count the in-breath. Just let it go in. Just let it go in, let it go in, let it go in. And then when you get to maximum, hold it. Count to 2. 1, 2. Now start to breathe out, but you're going to breathe out on a count of 7. You're going to really slow it down. Breathe out on a count of 7. Now we're going to guesstimate that breathing out, breathing in and breathing out is 12 seconds. We're going to guesstimate that that takes 12 seconds. And if you do that times 5, breathe in and out 5 times, that's going to give you the number of minutes that you need to do. So 5 times is 1 minute. If you want to do it for 5 minutes, it's going to be 25 times. If you want to do it for 4 minutes, it'll be 20 times. So you figure out how many minutes that you want to do, and then you start your counting. Okay? And as you count your breaths, you're going to naturally feel that your heart rate is going to slow down. You're going to inhale, hold it, and then you're going to exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold it, and now inhale. You can go slow, you can go fast, it doesn't matter. Obviously, having more control over the in-breath, and a longer in-breath is better, but don't worry about it, just breathe naturally. Just breathe naturally, because we're counting for 15 seconds. That's what we're doing. Times 4 is 1 minute, and then however many times after that, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So, are you breathing? Are you counting? Are you feeling? Are you sensing? Okay, now, I know that your breath rate slowed down from the first time you took it. I also know your heart rate slowed down from the first time you took it. So, you just took control of your physiology, your heart rate, your respiration rate, and you triggered an immune response. When you are relaxed and you feel good, your immune response goes up higher and higher and higher. That's how you build your immune system. And this is why this is the Be Well vaccine for COVID-19. Count the breaths, count the heartbeats, count the heartbeats, count the breaths, and you want to do that 5 times, which is 1 minute. And I'm suggesting you do it 5 minutes. So deep breath in, count to 7 as you breathe out, deep breath in. We're going to guesstimate that's 12 seconds. So 5 of those is 1 minute. If you do it for 5 minutes, that's 25 times. So you're going to do 5 minutes in the morning, sometime between 10 a.m. and noon, or whatever time you leave the house, you should do it for 5 minutes. Then do it for 5 minutes in the middle of the day, sometime between 1 and 5, and then do it 5 minutes as soon as you get home from work, or whatever is the end of your day, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever you deem is the end point of your day, then you're going to do it another 5 minutes before you eat, before you do anything else, before you take a shower. You're just going to do that deep breathing, okay? That is going to calm and relax your nervous system. That's going to make your adrenal glands calm and balanced. It's amazing the benefits you're going to do. This is the vaccine. You got to take it every day for 90 days. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely free. We'll be right back with some questions from anyone. So we got some comments and questions. Nope. Okay. So I guess we're concluded here. Is our time up? Yep. Okay, we got a question. Okay, what's the question?
Hey, it was we were supposed to share. Oh, we did that, huh? I tried to call in as a listen to. I wanted to say that my grandmother passed at 74 from cancer. I think it was like lung cancer, and then my grandfather passed at 77 or even 74 from like breathing complications.
Breathing complications, and the first one was heart.
Yes.
Okay, heart and lungs. That's clearly what we die from. So have you had your blood pressure tested, or your heart rate tested, or your respiration rate tested?
No. I'm taking your class though. This is Serena.
Ah, hi Serena.
Yes, sir. Hey.
Okay, so what do you think is the right age that someone should be tested for their heart and lungs?
Probably when they're young, like getting into their 20s.
Okay, Serena, what do you
Or
think?
maybe when they, sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna say like maybe when they start being less active.
Okay, so is that 40 or 45?
Oh, probably 45. I'm closer to my 40, so and I'm still active. So yeah. Oh man, that's tricky because I had bouts of not being active and being active. So probably 45. I'm gonna go with 45.
Okay, so what if you got tested before you stopped being active?
You said, what if I got tested before I stopped being active?
Before you stopped being active.
Shoot, then I'd have a healthy life.
Okay, so you see where I'm going with this. You see where I'm going with this. If you're already active and there's something out of balance, we can still fix it. But if you slow down and you're not moving and then we test you, you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
You know, you're carrying an extra 50 pounds of weight you don't have to carry. And that's emotional, and physical. Right?
Yeah.
So the right age would be closer to 35. Yeah, so closer to 35 would be the right age to get tested.
And
Okay.
that the test was what you were just doing, or that is something more involved?
Well, that's the starting point. That is what we call vitality testing that we do at the Be Well clinics. So in the vitality testing, we take your blood pressure at your wrist, your ankle, and we determine if there's a problem, which quadrant of the body, because we test both wrists and both ankles. And if there's an anomaly, in other words, is there a major difference between the heart rate and the blood pressure in any one of those different places, then we would know that that would be the area of concern, and that's where we would start to look. And so we would want to know that before you hit 40.
Oh, yeah. I got 2 more years. Okay.
Oh, you're not going to wait. You're going to find out ASAP. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, sir.
All righty. So,
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for your question.
My pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. That was a very good question. So, if people die from heart and lung problems, that should be where we would start. So that was my starting point. When I was 25, I'd already been to 3 funerals of uncles that had died of a heart attack before they were 50. So I sat back and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to get heart disease because I've got family history on both sides. I got to do something different. And that's when I became a fitness fanatic. And until I got injured in a bicycle high-speed race, 50-mile bike race, till I tore my knee out at that point, I was really in great shape. Then I had to shift to running since I couldn't bike anymore, and that was limited. So then I had to go to swimming, and that was limited. So I had to find something that would encompass all areas of my body, and that turned out to be Qigong. It got every part, the breathing, the musculoskeletal, the nervous system, the endocrine system, the digestive system, the reproductive system, the respiration system, and more importantly, the circulatory system. So every aspect of my body went through a cleansing and a healing by doing the Qigong. And that is your message for today. And we've got a further explanation of the vaccine. We're going to do a vaccine every day until the 30th of April. And that's absolutely free on the Ask Dr. Love podcast.
So, Dr. Love, how can you subscribe to your podcast?
How can you subscribe to my podcast? You would have to go to iTunes or Spotify or Radio Play, or you can go right here to anchor.fm, which is the link pin. Link
How about
pin.
your daily classes?
And we have daily classes Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. It's something I've been doing for 22 years, every day at the beach. So, you should have heard of me by now. So, Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 8:30, loveqigong.com is the link to register for the online class. And I take that back, only if you lived in South Florida would you have heard of me. So apologies to anybody who's from out of the South Florida area.
You're known worldwide, Dr. Love.
Aww.
Montreal, Aruba, London, everywhere.
So, did Cam Cam Trong, did he chime in?
Yes, he did. He shared the post too.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess you can ask everyone to share this post.
Yeah, that would be greatly appreciated if you guys shared the post. This is podcast number 10.
Number 8.
This is number 8. Okay. Getting ahead of myself.
You're kind of ahead there. We didn't put in work.
So there's a webinar on Friday, and the webinar is on the emotional enema, and we're going to drop another vaccine bomb tomorrow night. So you're going to get 2 more vaccines. You're going to get a vaccine tomorrow at 11, and you're going to get another vaccine Friday night. So make sure you capture all these vaccines. Vaccine for COVID-19 only at
Dr. Love's daily vaccine for COVID-19.
Okay. So we're going to bring this to a conclusion. I hope this has been as much fun for you as it is for me. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. So big thanks to Dennis Peters. Big thanks to the Holistic Motivator. And we'll see you tomorrow. Whoa.
I jump in the frame.
Yes.
What's up, the Holistic Motivator?
Thank you. So, wrapping this up, ask Dr. Love every day, 11 to 11:20. We went over today because we were having fun, and people actually decided to ask questions. So the reminder about this podcast is, if love is the answer, what's your question?
I like that. That's it.
That's it.